Hello there everyone and welcome to Corey's Datapad for a brief reaction to The Mandalorian Episode 1 of Season 2. This isn't going to be a super in-depth breakdown, we're going to have more of that later tonight on Tapcaf Transmissions with myself and Eckhart Slatter, but I wanted to give a few quick reactions to the episode having just watched it now. I will absolutely be talking about pretty major spoilers right now, so if you haven't seen the episode yet and you are trying to avoid spoilers, just stop watching, go watch the episode, then come back. So, essentially, the episode is about the Mandalorian having found out that there is a Mandalorian on Tatooine, going to Tatooine to find out who it is and to get more information that'll help him get the child to his kind. Now, this episode actually has a few references to other parts of canon, including some stuff that was originally introduced in Legends, like Mos Pelgo, which is a city that was introduced in the Old Republic, but was also used in the Aftermath books, and the main character that we run into in this episode, Cobb Vanth, is also from the Aftermath books. As it turns out, the Mandalorian that Din Djarin is seeking is someone using Boba Fett's armor. We find out that this is Cobb Vanth, who was actually the last person we know to have the armor, according to the Aftermath books. But later on in this episode, we also see that Boba Fett is alive. Temuera Morrison is in the episode right at the end in a very brief cameo. So, Din helps the local town of Mos Pelgo by getting rid of a crate dragon with the help of Cobb Vanth and some Tusken raiders that has been terrorizing both the Tuskens as well as the town, with the deal being that Cobb would then give the armor to the Mandalorian. This sets up a subplot for this season where the Mandalorian is probably going to be hunted by Boba Fett to get his armor back, so we'll probably see some sort of confrontation between them, whether that ends in cooperation or just a fight. We don't know yet, but this is just direct confirmation that, much like in Legends, Boba Fett has survived falling into the Sarlacc pit. This is something that wasn't previously established in the new canon, but a lot of people probably assumed was going to be the case after Boba became such a prominent post-Endor character, and we kind of get to see the first steps of that with how he's going to interact with the Mandalorian. And I'm really excited to see Temuera Morrison in live action again as Boba Fett. In general, I'm of two minds on the whole cameo thing. This is something that we heard a lot of rumors about in the lead up to the show starting, and there were some rumors about Cobb Vanth being in the show, but where I'm a bit hesitant with the idea of certain other characters who I won't go into right now if you haven't been following the rumors showing up, I think that Boba Fett and Cobb Vanth are two that actually make a lot of sense for what The Mandalorian is as a show. I like the idea that Star Wars media can start being a bit more self-contained in some of their stories. I don't really want The Mandalorian to turn into a thing where there's cameos from major movie characters all the time, but because The Mandalorian is seeking out things related to his Mandalorian culture, then it makes sense that Boba Fett, as someone who uses Mandalorian armor, even if he's not necessarily a Mandalorian himself, would turn up in Din's search for other Mandalorians. I think it's a really good way for us to have a way to explore what Mandalorian culture actually is in the show, more than just having it be directly told like it kind of was in Season 1, which was still really well done, but this gives us a new avenue to explore that through, and I'm really excited about that. On the whole, I think it's a really good starting point for Season 2. It sets up a couple new characters for the show, even if they're not necessarily new characters for the Star Wars universe, and kind of sets the stage for what we can expect. I was admittedly kind of worried when Tatooine came up again, but it turned out to be a really good episode, and it wasn't too much in the way of rehashing stuff we've already seen. We got to see some of the characters introduced on Tatooine last season, which were really fun, but getting to fight a crate dragon is something that you don't really see all the time, and I thought that was a really cool fight. It honestly felt like it was straight out of Knights of the Old Republic when you're on Tatooine and you blow up the crate dragon by basically leaving the explosives outside of the cave. When he started pulling up into Mos Pelgo, I got some pretty heavy Tremors vibes. And then when the ground started shaking, I was like, oh, is this what we're doing? But I don't know if you have seen Tremors or not, but it's an older movie that I really loved growing up, but it is so cheesy, and I was afraid we were going to get more of that. And there were elements to it that were kind of cheesy, but again, I thought it was a really solid start to the season. That's going to do it for my initial reactions to Episode 1 tonight at 7 p.m. EST, unless we have to change the time a bit. Eckhart Slatter and I will be going over our full breakdown breakdown of the episode together on Tapcaf Transmissions. You'll be able to watch that on his channel, youtube.com/EckhartSlatter, or here on Corey's Datapad. Hope to see you then, and have a good one.